Hey guys, welcome back to Lab Cyber. Hope you're staying safe and well wherever you are. Today, I do have two very interesting stories involving Bitcoin and lost passwords. And you may have heard of this gentleman from San Francisco called Stephen Thomas, who apparently has lost or is about to lose $250 million worth of Bitcoin because he stored his Bitcoin in a digital wallet that gives him 10 attempts to guess the right password. And if after the 10th wrong attempt, the files are going to get encrypted and he's going to lose all his Bitcoin forever. Apparently, he's on his 8th attempt at this point, but he has already given up hope that he's never going to recover the Bitcoin anymore. And he has over 7,000 Bitcoin. In fact, he has exactly 7,002 Bitcoin in this digital wallet that's actually worth $250 million today. Here's the article from Daily Mail, and he's actually a computer programmer. And it says that he was gifted 7,002 Bitcoin in 2011, but lost the password that same year. The software used to create Bitcoin means that only the user has access to the password with an iron key system, giving them 10 attempts to get it right. Now, there is a company called IronKey who make really powerful USB drives with military-grade encryption. I'm not sure if this is the same kind of USB that he used to save his Bitcoin in. I'm not entirely sure. But the point here is that the digital wallet gives him 10 attempts to guess the right password, and if after the 10th attempt that fails, the files will get encrypted and will be lost forever. The whole point here is that if the owner of the USB drive saved very, very important files in the drive and he misplaced it, anybody who tries to access that hard drive after 10 attempts at failing the password test, the files are going to get encrypted and will be lost forever. So the whole point here is that even if the user can't access their own files anymore, no one else will be able to. So from one angle, it's very, very, very great, right? I mean, no one will ever see all the very, very important files you kept in your USB drive. But on the other hand, it can also backfire in this kind of situation where you yourself, you've not misplaced the hard drive, you have the hard drive, but you don't remember the password anymore. Now, here is the problem, okay? He very likely used a unique password for this particular digital wallet, and this is exactly why I very often recommend not using one single unique password for very, very important files and devices like this. You typically want to have a system of, let's say, 5, 6 passwords that you regularly use across different kinds of platforms and devices as well. If he had used such a system, he would not be in this position right now. One thing you could also do is, if you wanted to use a unique password specifically in this scenario right now for his digital wallet, one thing he could have done is to save the file with the password in the cloud. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why on earth would you save such an important file in the cloud, right? Here's what you're going to do. Obviously, you're not going to name the file my password to my digital wallet. No. One thing you could do is you could actually save a text document. So you're going to have like a text document of, let's say, 5, 6 paragraphs. The actual content of this article could be maybe a short story. It could be maybe 5 paragraphs of a real analysis or a real research, or just something legitimate, right? You can have 5, 6 paragraphs of text. Now, one thing you could do is that if you're going to have a unique password or several unique passwords, you could embed those passwords somewhere along that document. So maybe somewhere on the 3rd paragraph, you just put the password right there. And then maybe on the 5th paragraph or 6th paragraph, on the 2nd sentence, you put another unique password there. Something like that. Even if somebody somehow ended up getting access to that particular file, first of all, when they see the name of the file and they see the first paragraph, the second paragraph, they're not even going to bother reading the rest because they'll feel, oh, this is a useless document, right? But even if somehow they ended up reading the entire document and they saw those like strange looking text, which might be a password, they will not know what those passwords are for, unless of course you're the one who told them. that's one way how you can actually save your unique passwords. Put them in a file that contains all the text, save that file in the cloud. Obviously, you're not going to go with one solution. You could do Dropbox, you could do Google Drive, things like that. Also, you could save that same file manually in one of your physical hard drives, and just make sure you have at least 3 or 4 different places where you've kept such unique passwords. But left to me personally, I don't recommend unique passwords. I recommend coming up with a system of like 5 or 6 very strong passwords, and then you use those passwords across multiple devices and websites and applications. So yeah, that's the poor gentleman Stephen Thomas, and $250 million gone just like that. Boy, I really do feel bad for him. But there's a second story, and this one says a man who says he threw away a hard drive loaded with 7,500 bitcoins in 2013 is offering his city $70 million to dig it up from the dump. Yeah, so apparently this guy threw away his hard drive containing 7,500 bitcoins back in 2013, and honestly, it's I can't really blame him, because honestly, back in 2013, Bitcoin was nothing. In fact, let me tell you a very, very quick story. As early as of 2011, 2012, that was the first time I heard of Bitcoin. But back then, even like today, hackers used to use Bitcoin as a means of accepting payments whenever they locked out people from their computers. So back then, back in 2011, 2012, Bitcoin had this negative association with hackers. You know, you hear of Bitcoin, you're immediately thinking of black hat hackers and things like that. So I never even ever considered buying Bitcoin, because I always felt, oh, this is what hackers use to, you know, accept payment. And I never saw Bitcoin in a positive light until much, much, much later. If only I knew back then, I would have spent all my money, all my life savings on buying some Bitcoin. When I read the headlines of this story, my immediate thought was, well, hold on a second. 2013 is 8 years ago. Is the hard drive still going to be in a good condition? But I did read somewhere in this article that it's possible that they can still retrieve the contents of the hard drive. Unfortunately, the city has said no; they're not going to allow him to dig up the landfill. So let me just quickly read to you what the attempt is here. It says the plan would be to dig a specific area of the landfill based on a grid reference system and recover the hard drive while adhering to all safety and environmental standards. The drive will then be presented to data recovery specialists who can rebuild the drive from scratch with new parts and attempt to recover the tiny piece of data that I need in order to access the Bitcoins. And of course, here is the area where the hard drive was dumped at. Personally, I have never built a hard drive before. I've never rebuilt a hard drive, so I don't know if it's possible, but it is possible. I just don't know if in this particular situation where it's been 8 years, I don't know if it will be possible to rebuild the hard drive. But two rather tragic stories. But I also saw something very interesting from the first article here. It says there is currently an estimated $140 billion in Bitcoin trapped in similar digital wallets where the users have forgotten their password or left it stranded. And I gotta tell you, man, it's passwords on one hand can really help you and protect you from hackers and things like that. On the other hand, passwords can really screw you over, especially when you forget what those passwords are. So the lesson for today is, don't use unique passwords for very, very important applications. Come up with a system or 5 or 6 very strong passwords, and then wherever possible, you also want to integrate other security measures like, two-factor authentication, use authentication apps, things like that. So it's not just about the passwords. But if you're going to use a unique password, make sure you save that password in multiple locations, and of course, make sure those passwords are hidden. They're not they're not very obvious to anyone who gets access to the file containing the password. So that's it. Let me know what you think about this, and Have you also lost your password to your digital wallet? Do let me know. I hope not. But I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts about this two particular stories. Anyway, that's it for today. Stay safe out there. If you enjoyed the video, of course, give it a thumbs up. Share the video with anyone you may feel might benefit from the story. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do subscribe, hit the bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video. I'm Alex from Lab Cyber. It's a pleasure. Stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you next time. Cheers.